Hello dear students, today we start with the next subject, that is cost accounting paper number 3. Why paper number 3? Because in FY you all have done paper 1, SY may paper 2 and now paper 3. This what I am explaining is from back point of view. Other courses where this chapter is there, just focus from this chapter point of view. Okay, so the first chapter of the costing syllabus of TYBAF, integrated system of accounting. Integrated system of accounting. Now, as per my trend, first we will discuss what is the meaning of integrated system of accounting. After integrated, the second chapter what you have is non-integrated. Now both the chapters go hand in hand. The reason is, if you know this chapter properly, 75% of the next chapter gets automatically done. So the understanding of this chapter is so important. Automatically, it takes care of 75% of the next chapter. And as per the trend of your board exams, there has always been a question on integrated as well as non-integrated. So a good opportunity to score up to 30 marks in sums and another 3-4 marks in the form of objective for these two chapters, integrated and non-integrated. Now coming to the meaning of this. You all have done in SY costing, remember a chapter called as reconciliation between cost and financial accounts. Now see, this chapter and the next one comes into picture only when there's a factory where there is manufacturing process taking place. There these two chapters come into picture. Now as I mentioned, SYMA you all have done reconciliation. Now when I say accounts now, as far as your syllabus is concerned and this subject is concerned, it is categorized in two parts. One is financial accounts and the second is cost account. Financial accounts and cost accounts. What y'all are doing since FIGC, HYGC, bookkeeping and accountancy, FISIM and financial accounting, all that is a part of financial accounting. Okay. In short, it is nothing but recording of actual business transaction what takes place in the books of accounts, the basic of FIGC. Now the second part, cost accounting. Cost accounting refers to accounting only for transactions which relate to the costing of a product. Relates to costing of the product. That means what transactions affect cost of product. When you have a factory, you buy material. I'll show you the process also in some time. You buy material, you incur wages, you incur factory expenses, you incur office expense, you incur selling expense. All that are a part of cost of product. So cost accounting may, there is a separate recording of transactions which are purely related to cost. There are few things in this. I'm not getting into that at this stage. When the relevant time comes, that time I explain you. Right now, I just want to make it simple to get your basics strong. Okay. So financial accounting means recording of each and every transaction. Cost accounting means recording of transactions which are related to cost of product. Okay. Financial accounting may each and every transaction comes. Cost accounting may few transactions don't come. That is the reason SY what you all learned reconciliation was because of this thing, that few transactions are not recorded in cost accounts. Now guys, listen very carefully. Coming to the chapter. Now, as I told you, separate cost account. Basically, cost accounting comes into picture when there is a factory. There are other cases also where even if there is no factory, this can come. But let's stick to your syllabus discussion. Okay. Now see. if there is a huge organization जिसका क्रोज में टर्नओवर है, ओके, जिसका क्रोज में टर्नओवर है, अंडरस्टैंड, आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग द मीनिंग नॉट ओनली ऑफ दिस चैप्टर बट आल्सो द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. Then they will have a separate cost account and separate financial account. Okay, they will have a separate, I'm just using the word FA, financial account system, and a separate cost account system. Separate records for financial transaction, that is financial accounting, and separate transaction for cost transaction, that is cost accounting. This is feasible when the company is very large and they can afford, it is feasible for them to have a separate financial and separate cost account. It is feasible for them to have a separate financial accounts and separate cost accounts. Now, for those companies who need cost accounting, but their scale of operations is not large, they are medium type companies. So what will happen? Sorry, for them, it is not economical to have a separate cost and financial system of accounts. So what they do, they merge. They keep only one set of accounts, that is financial and cost together. Okay, so financial and cost account, there is one set of accounting kept which combines both फाइनेंशियल एज वेल एज कॉस्ट. अभी देखो यहां पे क्या था, सेपरेट फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजैक्शन, सेपरेट बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट फॉर फाइनेंस एंड सेपरेट बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट फॉर कॉस्ट सिस्टम, सेपरेट सिस्टम ऑफ अकाउंटिंग फॉर कॉस्ट, सेपरेट सिस्टम ऑफ अकाउंटिंग फॉर फाइनेंशियल अकाउंट. एंड यहां पे सिंपल वर्ड्स में 2 in 1, both of them kept together. Got it? Now listen, this system where both of them are kept together is called as integrated. This system where both of them are kept together is integrated, and the system where both are separate, that is called as non-integrated. That is called as non-integrated. Got it? See, you know this, automatically the concept for the two chapters becomes simple. So I'll repeat, where there is a separate financial accounting system, separate cost accounting system, that is called as non-integrated, and where there is one, that is integrated. Integrated मतलब mixture, combination. यहाँ पे नॉन इंटीग्रेटेड, इंटीग्रेटेड नहीं है, मिक्स नहीं है, सेपरेट फाइनेंस सेपरेट कॉस्ट, यहाँ पे दोनों का कॉम्बो है, दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन है, therefore it is called as integrated. So the name of the chapter, integrated system of accounting, is an accounting system where cost transactions and normal financial accounting transactions are merged together in one books of accounts. That is the simple meaning of that. Got it? Now see here, I am being very open with you all. ये video YouTube पे open, I am being open. I will be starting with integrated first, which you all know. Majority of the professors, they start non-integrated first, then integrated. इसमें कोई problem नहीं है. It's okay, they wish. But why I do? You all will सीना तान के बोलता हूँ, 100% of you all, not even a single exception will be there. After I come to the second chapter, after completing the first chapter, when I am midway in the second chapter or towards the start of the second chapter, you will only say, sir, you did a very smart thing by doing integrated first. So if we do integrated first, automatically starting में भी मैंने बोला था 75% of non-integrated gets done. If you do non-integrated first, थोड़ा complication create होगा. I don't say it is a bad thing, it's fine. But integrated पहले करोगे, non-integrated understanding will become very, very simple. There's a minor difference. What difference is there? That we will see in the next chapter. And I'll do one good thing. When I start the second chapter now, I'll first take a basic sum where we will solve both with integrated as well as non-integrated. तुम्हारा concept और clear होगा. वो video भी YouTube पे open होगा, that you can check after few days. Got it? So we will be starting with integrated system of accounts. And what is integrated? Integrated system of accounts is that system where financial accounts and cost accounts are merged together. Okay? So now, before I start that, let's understand the manufacturing process, because this chapter and the next chapter, this chapter and the next chapter, both may there are journal entries. There are ledger accounts also, but ledger के लिए first you'll have to make journal. So both the chapters may there are journal entries. Journal entries are very simple. Just you should know what manufacturing process is all about. Now F5BAF may you all have done manufacturing final accounts. Okay, and again I'll repeat, as I mentioned, for your syllabus, cost accounting will come into picture only when there is a manufacturing process taking place. And where will a manufacturing process take place? Manufacturing process take place in a factory. Without factory, you cannot produce goods. That is very basic. Okay. Without factory, you cannot produce goods. That is very basic. Okay. Sure. Before I start the basics of what I'm going to do, I've kept 8 transactions. Let's understand the process. You all know this, but again I'm repeating little bit in extra, because I'm sure those who are with me since F5, you all have forgotten that, most of y'all, and many people may be not aware also. It happens, to be honest, majority of the students try to mug up accounts. So in that case, it's very difficult to catch up with the process. So before I start the sum, let's see what the manufacturing process is all about. Okay? अभी देखो, manufacturing. There are two things. When you deal in goods, na, there are two types of businesses, trading and manufacturing. Trading में क्या होता है? We buy goods from outside, we sell the good in the same form. Manufacturing में, we buy the material. So when I manufacture my own goods, the first step is I will buy my own raw material. Okay, I will buy my own raw material. That raw material I will further process. Workers will work on it. Factory में processing चलेगा. Factory expense will be incurred. Okay, so it gets processed. So raw material will be processed at a later stage into work in progress. You all know the type of stocks: raw material, finished goods, WIP. Okay, so raw material on further processing gets converted into work in progress, which we commonly call it as WIP. Gets formula converted into WIP, that is work in process. What is work in progress? Work in process, work in progress, same name. We also call it as semi-finished goods. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? इसका मतलब ये होता है the goods are partly produced. इसका मतलब ये होता है the goods are partly produced. रॉ मटेरियल, कच्चा माल, उससे ये फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग करने के बाद WIP क्रिएट हुआ. Nobody will sell WIP. This means your goods are partly completed. You do further processing and raw material gets converted into finished goods. Raw material gets converted into finished goods. So raw material into WIP, WIP into finished goods. You all have heard this word, correct? FI में, even in SY costing, raw material, are three types of stock you all have done. Stock of raw material, stock of WIP, stock of finished goods. So this is the basic process. Now going in detail. Now understand this. Now what I explain you, journal entries are based on that. Now see, first, the company will buy raw material. The company will buy raw material. सप्लायर या क्रेडिटर्स जिससे रॉ मटेरियल परचेज किया वहां से रॉ मटेरियल आएगा एंड इट विल बी स्टोर्ड इन अ प्लेस that is called as store department. It will be generally stored, it depends upon company to company. It will be stored in the store department. Raw material purchase करके यहाँ से आएगा. So store department is the department which takes care of raw material. Now, ये जो मैंने बोला, raw material gets further processed. That process takes place in production department. That process takes place in production department. अभी देखो, store department में material आया. After getting material in the store department, the material gets transferred to production department. After getting stored material in stores, stores से material जाएगा production department. प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट में क्यों जाएगा? यहां पे दे विल बी फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग. गुड्स विल बी फर्दर प्रोसेस टू कन्वर्ट इनटू फिनिश्ड गुड्स. नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन? यहां पे वर्कर्स काम करेंगे, उनको वेजेस पे करेंगे. देयर विल बी फैक्ट्री सुपरवाइजर्स, उनका सैलरी पे होगा. देयर विल बी फैक्ट्री एक्सपेंस लाइक कोल, गैस, वाटर, मतलब हाई वोल्टेज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, पावर कंजम्पशन होगा. देयर विल बी डेप्रिसिएशन ऑन फैक्ट्री एसेट्स प्लस अदर एक्सपेंसेस व्हिच आर ऑल कनेक्टेड टू फैक्ट्री. All these will be incurred to help the manufacturing process where the aim is to convert raw material into finished goods. So यहाँ पे all the factory processing takes place. Understand, wages incur होगा, factory expense incur होगा, depreciation on factory assets which is a part of factory expense only. All those expenses will be incurred. Journal entries में के लिए याद. Got it? Now, once the processing is done, now finished goods gets created. Now finished goods gets created, and from the finished goods, from the production department, finished goods are placed in warehouse. Warehouse is a place where finished goods are kept for sale. Warehouse is a place where finished goods are kept for sale. Okay, warehouse is a place where finished goods are kept for sale. यहाँ से goods sell होगा. Customer needs goods, it will go out from warehouse. So store department is a department where raw materials are kept. Production department is a department where production process takes place. Warehouse is the place where प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट में से जो फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस होता है वो जाता है वेयरहाउस में, एंड वेयरहाउस से इट इज फॉर सेल. नाउ इन एडिशन टू दिस, व्हाट आई एक्सप्लेन यू, दिस वाज प्योर फैक्ट्री ट्रांजैक्शंस. अपार्ट फ्रॉम फैक्ट्री you also have an office. Okay? Apart from factory you also have an office. You all have done earlier SY में किया हुआ है, मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटिंग एज वेल एज कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग में. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ओवरहेड्स, ऑल एक्सपेंसेस incurred in office will be called as office overheads. That also will be a part of cost of product. यहां से goods are sold. So once the goods leave from warehouse or whatever expenses are incurred here and after this, you all know that very well, that we call it as selling and distribution overhead. That we call it as selling and distribution overheads. So expenses incurred on selling and distribution are called as selling and distribution overheads. Got it? So that is the meaning of this. So these are the overheads. You all know overheads: factory, office, selling and distribution. And keep this in mind. I discussed while doing cost sheet also, wages. Wages is not a part of overheads. Wages is not a part of overheads. Overheads will be in three parts: factory, office, that is admin, and selling and distribution. There are finance expense, but finance expense are not considered while doing cost accounting. But yes, financial may it is considered. That we will see when we come to second chapter. Got it? Now this is the process. You can rewind it and listen again. And now I will do a basic sum where today ka sum mein I have not kept office and selling. That I'll do after one or two classes, because initially you should be thorough with the accounting entries for these transactions. Very simple transactions. In fact, students unnecessarily get complicated. एक fear factor होता है, अरे बाप रे जर्नल जर्नल जर्नल. नो, यहाँ का जर्नल एंट्री अलग टाइप का है. FYJC का थोड़ा भी जर्नल याद रहेगा ना, and you understand the process and you follow my explanation, you will find this chapter very simple. My students have always scored good marks in integrated and non-integrated. Clear with this, guys? Got it? So this is the thing. Now I'll just rub the board. There's a question where there are 8 transactions. We have to pass 8 journal entries. I'll just be ready with the format and I'll be back. Okay guys, now taking the extra question, you all have the question in front of you. Okay, I've already made a journal. There are 8 transactions. You make a full page of journal. बाद में जरूरत पड़ेगा तो extend करना. Okay, चलो let's see the sum. From the following transactions, pass necessary journal entries under integrated system. Remember, we are doing this chapter, first chapter, integrated. After that, next will be non-integrated. Again, I'll repeat. What is integrated? Integrated is combination of cost accounts and financial accounts. Okay. Now I'm going very slow with this 8 transactions. Understand very carefully. There are 8 transactions. Let us go step by step. First, raw materials purchased on credit 1 lakh. Raw materials purchased on credit 1 lakh. Now listen. How it has got linked with the manufacturing process what I explained you. When you buy raw materials, materials यहाँ कहाँ पे स्टोर होता है? When you buy raw materials, material कहाँ पे स्टोर होता है? Store department. So when material comes in under this system, for recording the transaction relating to raw materials, we open a separate account called as store ledger control account. Store ledger is the ledger where stock of raw material is recorded, and we call it control. Why? Because factories mein you need more type of materials. So the word control is generally used to give a hint that it is having a combination of all materials together. So in short, when I buy material, I debit an account called as store ledger control account. I'll go step by step. So the first thing, because I am buying material, material comes in, we will debit an account called as store ledger control account, that is 1 lakh. Materials are coming in, materials are being purchased. So we debit store ledger control account. We debit store ledger control account. Now listen, journal entry, there has to be a second effect. Now when I buy materials, either I will buy on cash or on credit. If I buy on cash, to cash. If I pay by check, to bank. And if it is on credit, creditors. So यहाँ पे it is on credit. So because it is on credit, I will credit to sundry creditors account 1 lakh. Okay. So because material is coming in, understand the logic, and I'm coming to the point now. Because material is coming in, I debit store ledger control account and it is a credit purchase, therefore I credit sundry creditors. Okay, because it's a credit purchase, I credit sundry creditors. Let me write the narration, then I'll show you the logic of integrated. Being raw materials purchase. Being raw materials purchase. Now see, what I told you, this is integrated. Integrated means combination of cost and financial accounting. Now, when there is a debit and credit, understand, it's very interesting. When there is debit and credit, because it is integrated, combination of both of them can be financial accounts, both of them can be cost accounts, one finance, one cost. I'll repeat, because it is integrated, combination of cost and financial accounting, both can be financial accounting, both can be cost accounting, or it can be one cost and one finance. Can you tell me in this what it is? Creditors, you all are hearing since FYJC. Till today, have you heard the word store ledger control account? No. So this is an account, separate account for cost account, and this is finance. दोनों एक entry में आ गया. So it is an example of integrated. Of course, both can be cost, both can be finance, but combination of all in one is called as integrated. Got it? So this is cost, this is finance, pure journal entry of integrated. As I mentioned, if you know this chapter, 75% of the next chapter will be very simple. Kyun? Slowly you will come to understand. Got it? So this was the first transaction, material being purchased. अभी देखो second क्या है? Raw material transferred to production 80,000. Now nobody is a fool just to buy raw material like that. Why we buy raw material? Why we buy raw material? We buy raw materials so at a later stage raw material can be converted into finished goods. The main purpose of buying raw material will be to convert raw material into finished goods. The main purpose of buying raw material is to convert raw material into finished goods. Now guys, listen. After buying raw material, it goes for production. Now, there is nothing called as production department account or production account. What happens? What I showed you in the example. Whatever processing takes place in the production department, all that is a part of WIP. Materials are further processed to get it converted into finished goods. So whatever processing takes place in the factory, end of the day, it is a part of the cost of process. So therefore, that will be debited to WIP. Kitna amount था? I think 80,000. Yeah. So I bought 1 lakh. 1 lakh में से production department needs 80,000. So see the concept. जब भी मटेरियल आया मैंने डेबिट किया. नाउ मटेरियल गोज आउट सो आई विल क्रेडिट. आया तभी डेबिट किया. नाउ इट गोज आउट सो आई विल क्रेडिट and it goes in the production department. So end of the day it is a part of processing cost, that is work in progress or work in process. So my entry will be work in progress account debit that is 80,000 to store ledger control account 80,000. Work in progress account debit 80,000 to store ledger control account 80,000. B, raw material transferred to production department. B, raw materials transferred to production department. B, raw materials transferred to production. I'll show you the logic again. When I bought the material, I debited stores. Now from the stores, material is going out for further processing, so I credit. Sorry. And because it is going for further processing, I will debit WIP. So work in progress account debit 80,000 to store ledger control account 80,000. Clear with this, guys? So these were the two transactions relating to raw material. I've kept it very basic. Let's see now the further transaction. Wages paid 50,000. Acha, one more thing. Now listen. Cost finance. Cost. Now suppose this was non-integrated. ये एंट्री में थोड़ा फर्क होता था. क्या फर्क होता है? आई एम नॉट गेटिंग इनटू दैट. बट ये एंट्री सेम ही होता था. This would have been the same entry while doing the second chapter. Why? Because ये भी cost का अकाउंट है, ये भी cost का अकाउंट है. Store ledger भी cost का अकाउंट है, but creditors is a part of financial accounting system. Got it? Now the next, wages paid 50,000. Okay, wages paid 50,000. Obviously तुम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस कर रहे हो, गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हो, विदाउट द हेल्प ऑफ द वर्कर्स के हेल्प के बिना गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर होगा ही नहीं. वर्कर्स के हेल्प के बिना गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर होगा ही नहीं. Therefore you have to incur wages. Now when I incur wages, normally we debit wages account, but this is integrated system of accounting. We will same logic of store ledger control. We will use the word wage control because there will be different types of workers, skilled workers, semi-skilled, हर एक का रहेगा. So all wages in one. That is the basic logic for using the word control. You can keep in mind for your level, control means combination of more than one. Okay, so wages are incurred. So I debit an account called as wage control or wages control account debit, and it is paid. Money goes out. Cash दिया रहेगा to cash, bank check दिया रहेगा to bank. When nothing is mentioned, if it is only paid, I hope nothing is mentioned. क्या था? Wages paid ही दिया है. So here I will write to cash bank. So wage control debit 50,000 to cash bank 50. B, wages paid. B, wages paid. Okay, so wage control debit 50,000 to cash bank account 50,000. B, wages paid. Clear? Got it? अभी देखो, wage control, have you heard till today? No. So this is cost account, this is finance. Cost, finance, cost finance. सबका combination आ रहा है integrated system of accounting. Okay, next. Now see, wages charged to production 45,000. यहाँ पे मटेरियल क्यों परचेस किया? फॉर फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग. वेजेस क्यों इंकर किया? फॉर फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग. सो व्हाट आई विल डू इज, व्हेन आई इंकर्ड वेजेस, आई डेबिटेड वेज कंट्रोल. Now I am going to charge it to production. That means I will charge this cost to production, and anything what is charged to production, as we discussed, will be a part of WIP. Let it be material, let it be wages, let it be any overhead expense incurred in factory. After incurring, end of the day, it goes to production. So when it is production, it is WIP. So see, same logic. जब ये मटेरियल परचेज किया, I debited stores. Charge to production, I credited stores, debited WIP. Same thing I will do here. जब ये मैंने वेज इंकर किया, I debited wage control. Now I will credit, so I'll credit wage control and debit WIP. So my next entry becomes work in progress control account debit. कितना था? That is 45,000 to wage control account 45,000. Work in progress control debit 45,000 to wage control 45,000. Okay. Narration being wages charge to production. Being wages charge to production. Being wages charge to production. Okay. Got it, guys? Clear? Now see. Cost. If this was sum of non-integrated, the same sum I can do with non-integrated, which I'll do when I start with non-integrated. First lecture में वही करूँगा. Cost. So if this was sum on non-integrated, this entry would have been the same, exactly same entry. Entry number 2, entry number 4 would be the same in non-integrated. That is the reason I always prefer doing integrated first. You all will only agree to me when I start with the next chapter. Okay guys, now exactly what we did for wages, the next two transactions on factory. Let's see. Factory overheads incurred 30,000. When I incur wages, I debit wage control. When I incur factory overheads, same logic, I'll debit factory overhead. So my next entry will be factory overhead control account, because here there will be various type of factory expenses. All factory expense का single account आएगा factory overhead control account. जैसे कि there is factory supervision, then there is depreciation on factory assets, wages paid to the supervisors, okay, other factory expenses, all will go in factory overhead. Power consumption, all will go in factory overhead control account. So all factory expenses end of the day will be debited to factory overhead control. कितना है factory overhead control का amount? 30,000. So factory overhead control 30. They have told you incurred. They have not told it is payable. So again the same thing. That means I must have paid. So because I must have paid to cash bank account 30,000. So factory overhead control debit 30,000 to cash bank 30,000. Narration being factory overheads incurred. Narration being factory overheads incurred. I just hope the angle is proper. Yeah, being factory overheads incurred. अभी देखो ये factory overhead control cost account, cash bank finance. One cost, one finance. Got it? Same logic. When I incur factory overheads, I debit factory overheads. Why you incur factory overheads? To produce goods. So end of the day, this will also go to WIP. Okay, now see how much amount is going. Charge to production 25,000. मैंने 30 incur किया, 25 charge कर रहा हूं. So what I'll do? At the time of incurring, I debited factory overheads. So now I will credit, and it is charged to production. Anything which is charged to production is a part of cost of production, cost of process, which ultimately here and in the next chapter goes to WIP. So same like entry number 4, I will debit work in progress. Account debit 25,000 to factory overhead control account 25,000 being factory overheads charged to production. Being factory overheads charged to production. So WIP control to factory overheads. Getting it? देखो यहाँ पे डेबिट, यहाँ पे क्रेडिट goes to WIP. ये डिफरेंस का क्या करने का वी विल सी आगे जाके. राइट नाउ लेट्स नॉट गेट इनटू दैट. Sorry, WIP control account. Forgot to write control. Sorry, WIP control account. WIP control cost account. Factory overhead control cost account. If this was non-integrated, entry number 2, 4 and 6 would have been exactly same with the same amount, same account debit, same account credit. 1, 3 and 5 दो में से एक अकाउंट सेम होता, सेकेंड चेंज होगा. Got it? Clear? Now listen. मटेरियल परचेज किया, प्रोडक्शन में बेच दिया. वेजेस इनकर किया, चार्ज टू प्रोडक्शन. फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड्स इनकर किया, चार्ज टू प्रोडक्शन. नाउ व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट वन? फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस 1,20,000. नाउ गाइस बी केयरफुल. फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हो गया. मैंने ये सब क्यों किया? आई एम डूइंग बिजनेस, मुझे गुड्स बेचना है. आई कैनॉट सेल मटीरियल, आई कैनॉट सेल WIP. अल्टीमेटली जो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट है मेरा वही बिकेगा ना मार्केट में. सो फिनिश गुड्स हैज प्रोड्यूस. नाउ सी WIP कैसे इंकर हुआ? इफ यू सी ट्रांजैक्शन नंबर 2, 4 एंड 6, हाउ डिड WIP गेट क्रिएटेड? कहां से आया? मटीरियल में से आया, वेजेस में से आया, फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड में से आया. एंट्री 2, 4 एंड 6. नाउ मटीरियल, वेजेस, फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड को मैंने WIP में भेजा. WIP में गुड्स प्रोसेस हो रहा है. लिसन टू माय वर्ड्स केयरफुली. WIP में गुड्स प्रोसेस हो रहा है. नाउ WIP में से फिनिश प्रोडक्ट निकल के वेयर हाउस में जाएगा. सो व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड द प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस, I debited WIP 2, 4 and 6. Now part of the goods are produced. So that part of goods which are now produced, WIP में से निकाल दो. जब भी मैंने WIP में डाला, when I put in WIP, I debited WIP. Now it is reduced. Now it is completed. So remove it, reduce it from WIP, and now it gets converted into finished goods. So now see the entry. So my next entry will be now finished goods are created. यहां पे मैंने WIP create किया. Now finished goods are created. So finished goods control account debit. That is 1,20,000. And this finished goods gets created from WIP. So मेरा WIP कम हो गया. See, यहां पे मैंने क्रिएट किया 2, 4 and 6. Now 120 उसमें से प्रोड्यूस हो गया. It goes to finished goods. So finished goods क्रिएट हुआ, WIP उतना कम हो जाएगा. So to work in progress control account 120. So finished goods control debit 120 to work in progress control 120. Narration: we finished goods produced. Being finished goods produced. Got it guys? अल्टीमेटली मुझे अगर बिजनेस करना है, टिकना है, फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करके बेचना पड़ेगा. बेचने के लिए पहले फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करना पड़ेगा. फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए पहले रॉ मटेरियल परचेज करना पड़ेगा. उसमें वर्कर्स का हेल्प लेके, फैक्ट्री का हेल्प लेके आई हैव टू प्रोसेस फर्दर, then only I can create finished goods. So all transactions are interrelated. Got it? Now the last transaction. उसके पहले ये देखो, मटेरियल परचेज किया, प्रोडक्शन में भेजा. क्यों? फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करना है. वेजेस इनकर किया, चार्ज टू प्रोडक्शन. क्यों? फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करना है. फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड इनकर किया, चार्ज टू प्रोडक्शन. क्यों? फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करना है. फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हुआ डब्ल्यूआईपी में से, रिकॉर्ड किया. नाउ फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस क्यों कर रहा हूं मैं? Why I am producing finished goods? Because मुझे बेचना है. जब तक मेरे पास फिनिश गुड्स है ही नहीं तो मैं बेचूंगा क्या? So that is the reason. Now after creating finished goods, now I will sell it. Okay, so now see the final and the last transaction. What it says: cost of finished goods sold 1 lakh. Understand, it is cost. It is not the selling price, because when you sell it, you will sell it at a profit. वो पॉइंट मैं आज नहीं ला रहा हूं, because I want you all to be thorough with this. उसके बाद ही नेक्स्ट क्लास में तुमको समझ में आएगा. So I am not getting into that selling price. Purposely I have not kept it. So now the cost of finished goods sold 1 lakh. Now listen. जब भी फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हुआ, मैंने फिनिश गुड्स कंट्रोल को डेबिट किया. जब भी फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हुआ, मैंने फिनिश गुड्स कंट्रोल को डेबिट किया. नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू सेल इट. फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस किया, क्रिएट किया, डेबिट. अभी बेचूंगा तो मेरे फैक्ट्री में से बाहर जाएगा, वेयरहाउस में से बाहर जाएगा. सो व्हाट आई विल डू? आई विल क्रेडिट. सी, जब भी डब्ल्यूआईपी में चार्ज किया, डेबिटेड डब्ल्यूआईपी. नाउ डब्ल्यूआईपी से में से निकल के फिनिश गुड्स क्रिएट हुआ तो मैंने डब्ल्यूआईपी को क्रेडिट किया. नाउ फिनिश गुड्स बेच रहा हूं तो फिनिश गुड्स जाएगा, सो आई विल क्रेडिट फिनिश गुड्स. एंड व्हाई इट इज गोइंग आउट? बिकॉज आई एम सेलिंग एंड दिस इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ सेलिंग. सो आई डेबिट एन अकाउंट called as cost of sales. So my next entry is cost of sales account debit 1 lakh to finish goods control account 1 lakh. Cost of sales debit 1 lakh to finish goods control account 1 lakh. Cost of sales 1 lakh to finish goods control account, that is 1 lakh. Okay, narration. Being cost of finished goods sold. Being cost of finished goods sold. Got it guys? So this was the concept of integrated. Again I'll brush up the last two entries. Finished goods produce हुआ, कहां से प्रोड्यूस हुआ? WIP में. WIP में से निकल के फिनिश गुड्स में गया. सो फिनिश गुड्स टू WIP. कॉस्ट अकाउंट, कॉस्ट अकाउंट. कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स टू फिनिश गुड्स, कॉस्ट अकाउंट, कॉस्ट अकाउंट. क्रेडिट क्यों किया? जब भी प्रोड्यूस किया मैंने डेबिट किया. ना उसको बेच रहा हूं, इट इज गोइंग आउट. So I credit finished goods control and I debit cost of sale. There will be sales account also, but I have not kept it in this sum because before we go ahead, I want you all to be thorough with this. So guys, this was the, एक मिनट खाली ये टोटल कर लेता हूं. just for the sake of formality. 180, 50, 45, 30, 25, 220. याद रखना guys, this is a board exam, so you have to please take the totals of the journal. 120. So 5,50,000 is my total. So hope the concept was clear. This was integrated system of accounting for you all. Integrated system of accounting for you all. What was integrated? Combination of cost and finance. I've gone very slow with the sum. I've gone very slow with the explanation. Hope you all get it. YouTube पे ये वीडियो ओपन है. Please watch it for multiple times. You can watch it as many times you want. It's an open video. But please, whether the students who are studying with me or those who are watching on YouTube not studying with me, please do not go ahead without understanding this sum. Once you get the explanation what I explained you in the starting of this video and this sum, then the rest of the chapter you'll find easy. And as I told you, if you find this chapter easy, automatically 70 to 75% of next chapter is also done. That's it guys. I wind up here. Please understand carefully, and I hope you are definitely going to find, or you must have definitely found this chapter interesting. नहीं तो एक दो बार और देखो, automatically समझ में आएगा. That's it guys. Take care. See you all in the next class with the continuation of this chapter. Till then, take care guys.